Hello again. I don't know where you are in the world. You could be next door to me here in Atlanta, Georgia. You could be in Europe someplace. You could be anywhere in this world watching and listening to me. I pray that what I share with you on a very practical level will make a difference and you'll be able to use it in your lives on a daily basis. As usual, subscribe, like, let me know, make comments, send me comments, let me know if there's something else you'd like me to talk about, if what I'm talking about doesn't count to you, doesn't make any sense, or whatever your thoughts are. Just give me some feedback, and it probably can make me grow, which is what I like to do. I like to grow, I like to stretch, and I like to be more than I used to be. So today, or for, at least for this episode, I'd like to share about complimenting others. Even as a child, I knew the value of complimenting others. I knew that a good word spoken in season makes a big difference. Now I didn't know it from the biblical standpoint. I didn't, the words I just used is from the Bible. I didn't know it that way then, and I didn't necessarily verbalize it. But I knew that good thoughts, good encouragement, would sweeten labor. It would make people want to be more. It would make them seek after being more than they presented themselves to be. And so I'm not talking about compliments that you fake and you make up things. I'm talking about, and I'll give you a very simple example. I remember seeing a baby that was newly born many years ago, and the child was not in our sense of what's attractive and unattractive or whatever in this day and time. The child was not very attractive. When I looked at the child, I was like, wow, wow, because we're all made differently. We all come out a little bit differently. And so her mother, I don't think we weren't friends, but she obviously wanted some kind of compliment, something from me to her about this baby. And so I was visiting her or something, and there's this baby, and she's waiting for me to say something, and I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie. But I found out, and this is God. It has to be God. He says, find one good thing about everybody and anybody. Find one good thing about that baby and emphasize it to the mom. And I did. I think the child had very pretty eyes. And I was able to say, wow, what lovely eyes. The mother appreciated it. And you know what? After a while, the supposed unattractiveness disappeared. It just disappeared. A child. I work with children who are compromised physically. One young man, his head is shaped upward. It doesn't come out. His ear, everything is kind of in. And I remember before he came to the class where I teach, I remember thinking, I saw a picture of him, and they were showing pictures of the new students coming in for the new school year. Sorry. And I saw the picture of him, and I thought to myself, wow, will I be able to work with this kid? Because he looks so different from normal folks. And not just that his head is shaped that way, he wears glasses, and he wears those real thick horn-rimmed glasses. So it made him stick out even more. And so when he came to class for the new school year, I remember I made a definitive effort to go to him and to touch him. I started just touching his arm, just getting to know him. And I remember feeling so wonderful that I was not making this child feel badly about how he looks. I was able to be real, caring, and not look at the way he looked as something horrible, and that I could not relate to him. And he and I have a very good, we have a very good relationship. This young man, I think he's about 15, and he's in a wheelchair, and he'll come and sit next to me at my desk, and he'll just sit there, and then he'll reach out his hand, and he takes my hand, and then he'll do like this. And that's something that I do to him every once in a while. I'll just do it. And when I do this, he leans in And he just kind of smiles and makes this little moaning sound. And I think to myself, what an awesome God we serve. I was able, with his help, not to look at this child as someone unapproachable, not to look at him as someone who was not normal, and so therefore I could not relate to him. And so, whatever it is that I can find about him that is good and positive, I tell him. I share that with him. And I speak out loud about it for the other students to hear. And they all, it's like they get all pumped up. And so compliments. We should look for ways to tell people good things. No lies. Tell them the truth. But it means that sometimes you're going to have to search and do a little work to find out the good qualities, the supposed good qualities that everybody has some of. And so complimenting people. When I go to the stores, I have written so many, guess you say testimonials or whatever it is. I've written so many of these things over the last few years. I go to a store like Walmart, and the cashier or somebody in the different aisles, they help me out. They're pleasant. They go the extra mile, and I'll get their names. And I'll go online and write to Walmart, and I will tell them of this particular, I tell them the store where it happened, I tell them the employee's name, and I tell them what this particular individual did and added to my life that particular day maybe. And I want the store manager to know you got an exemplary employee. And so whenever I do it, the young people always say, oh man, thank you so much. That's so nice of you. But you know what? Good service is hard to come by these days. And young people, when I see anybody make an effort to do things better and in order, I always want to compliment them. It takes a little time because then I have to go online and I like to type and say, this is what they did, but it's worth it. Because I learned later on, I didn't know this in the beginning, I learned from one of the Walmart managers that when you do that, these employees get points on their records. I didn't know that. So it's even more important now that I share with folks, whenever you meet an employee in a store or wherever, the hospital, in the library, take their names. Go online and write a little testimonial or something. It sweetens their labor. It makes them feel good about themselves. It adds to their self-esteem. And you know something really wonderful and magical? It helps us too. It helps us too. So when we do nice things for people, it has a way of ricocheting back. It's like a boomerang. It comes back and you're like, what happened? Why am I getting this? You forgot. You sowed a seed. You sowed a seed in someone's life, and now they're blossoming, and you are benefiting from the blossom of that compliment. So I share that with you because I know, as a therapist, as a human being, as a child of God, I know the power of a compliment. No lies. I know the power of looking at someone and finding something worthwhile to mention about them, and how when they get recognized, how wonderful it feels to them. And this last part about compliments, and this is not actually about compliments. Like I said, I've written a lot of testimonials about employees for their various Walmart, Publix supermarket here in Georgia, Belk stores, Macy's. We have no idea the difference we can make in someone's employment, in their daily life, when we take the time to compliment them and let them know. And then when you put it in writing, how powerful it is. So the other part of that is that no matter what's going on in your life, do your best with the help of God to have a sense of humor and to live it. God has blessed me with a sense of humor. It really has. But so what I've learned to do is that I'll go into stores or different places, and I'll just put a little humor out there to whomever it might be, a cashier, a clerk, or whatever. And the responses are awesome, which tells me that people are looking to be communicated with. People are looking for something. We don't know what kind of days people have. We don't know what's going on in their lives. And when we take that time, it makes a difference. I remember going to these big conglomerates, I guess you call them. Like they have Costco and BJ's. This one is Sam's here in the South. And I remember going in there one day, and I can be, as much as I'm an old girl, I'm very humorous about things, simple things. And I went up to this cashier, and it was after work, and I walked up to her, and I was smiling. I said, "Hey, have you been looking for me?" And she said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Well, I should have been here much earlier. So have you been looking out for me?" And she caught what I was doing, and she said, "You know something? As a matter of fact, I wondered what was taking you so long." I bust out laughing. She bust out laughing. It was such a silly thing, and it meant something to her. It meant something to me, and it was just really great. All I said to her is like, "Hey, have you missed me? Have you been looking for?" She said, "I've been looking forward to seeing you all day." And it brought laughter. It brought lightheartedness. And so everywhere that I go, even if I'm not feeling my best, God kind of pumps me up and I'm able to say something silly, say something funny, whatever it might be. And we never know the difference it makes in someone's life. So whether it's a compliment or a hearty, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I really want to know how you're doing. That's another thing. I remember being in Walmart one day and I walked by, this lady said hello to me. And she said, "Hi, how are you?" And I said, "I'm fine, thank you. How are you?" Now, she just kept walking and didn't answer. So I said, "Excuse me." And she turned around like, "What does this lady want?" And I said, "Excuse me, I asked you how you were doing. You didn't answer." She was so shocked when I said that to her. People are out here lonely, battered, beaten up by the difficulties of life. I'm a believer in God. I know what He's done for me, and I know He'll continue to do it. And if as I continue to share the word and to share the life that He has given me, I bet you, I know because people have told me, I'm making a difference in the lives of others. That's what we ought to do for each other. And you don't have to go to seminary school to do that. You don't have to get training. You can just have a heart for Christ. You can just be a child of His. And I promise you, if you do things from that point of view, we can impact this whole world. People say, "Well, we need a revival." Well, guess what? If we keep doing those things like I've shared with you for people and to them, a revival will bust out so big we will never know what to do except be revived. It is lovely sharing with you. Subscribe. Make a comment. Let me know what you're thinking. Let me know if you agree and if any of this makes any sense in your life. And until next time, this has been Dr. Judith in Atlanta, Georgia. Until next time, walk good.